Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this doesn't work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods up there. Good morning, guys. Okay, thanks. I really want to thank everybody who came in on our live stream last night. It was lit. We had so many people in here, great comments, great discussions, and things, and I appreciate that. We're also simulcasting now on my Facebook pages as well. So we're spreading the reach and things. But if you are on Facebook and you like being part of the conversation, it's hard for me to go ahead and do the chat that's going on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So I mainly focus on the chat on YouTube. So go to YouTube, Joe Boo Sports Report, Mark Holmes, and subscribe to the channel and, hop on there as well. But we're happy to have you wherever you are. And thank you so much for being part of the show. Um, we sit here 23 days, 11 hours, 39 minutes from kickoff of the 2019 season. And I hate to say I told you so. You know, I started this channel originally, started really doing a lot of commentary and things, mostly on Facebook originally, and YouTube grew because there was so much out there that was just BS. I would see stuff on TV, on ESPN and things, and I'd say, that's not right. I would see the same narrative from show to show to show, and it's like that's not the truth. It's like Tony Romo. Everybody would say Tony Romo was a choker, but at the time Tony Romo had more comeback victories than anybody else. And it was kind of like I started doing this because I wanted to at least try and set the record straight, or at least bring you another option to look or to challenge you to think outside of the box and not to just listen to one source. Be able to make your own decision on things. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's looking at the facts, looking at what's happened in the past, and trying to put it into a context other than just for what the networks do. Okay, let's be honest here. ESPN and those guys, their narrative is the Cowboys stink. Why? Because it's a win-win. Because the Cowboys are the most loved and hated team at the same whack. It doesn't matter if you talk about Tampa Bay. Nobody really cares outside of Tampa. It's the same thing with the Buffalo Bills, that nobody cares the way they do about the Dallas Cowboys. So the best thing you can do is talk trash about the Dallas Cowboys because you'll infuriate all the Dallas Cowboy fans. Ask Emily Ann. Emily Ann gets pissed off every time she sees one of those idiots. So I always put out there my thoughts and things. And I hate to say that I told you so, but I have been saying since before Russell Wilson got his deal that the clock has been ticking on getting Dak Prescott's deal done. The thing with the Dallas Cowboys is, you know, they wait and they wait and they wait. They waited on DeMarcus Lawrence. Had they got a deal done last year, they probably could have gotten him for about 18 million. They waited on Dak Prescott. And, most of the times when I come back and I say, I said this, people will tell me you're a liar. You didn't say that. I had somebody who said that I didn't talk about Dak Prescott before the draft. And it's like, yeah, actually I did. So this is later. This is after Russell Wilson got his deal. And I kept saying, even when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's still going. And I just got ideas that are popping my head and stuff. But I've said this a couple of times. And I know I am just Joe the fan. I don't have any credentials. I don't work for ESPN and things like that, or NFL Network and stuff. I'm just Joe the fan, so I'm just talking and saying what I believe. We've had the discussion about Dak Prescott getting paid, and of course, Colin Cowherd thinks that he should single-handedly reset the quarterback market. That no quarterback should be paid more than $28 million. And I'm sure Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Matty Ice, and Aaron Rodgers would be happy to go ahead and drop, $5-6 million a year less than what they're already taking, as well as everybody else. But that's not the reality of the situation. The reality is from the time the salary cap happened and Troy Aikman signed his $10 million contract, and then going up. And so is the salary cap. When Troy Aikman signed his, the salary cap was about $25 million. Well, it's almost 10 times that now. It's closing in on $200 million. It will be at least next year. And the reality is you want to spend about 15% of your cap is what should go to the quarterback. It's about the right number. Some teams are spending more, some teams are spending a little less, but it all averages out to about 15% of it. Now, everybody keeps talking about, well, you pay Dak $30 million, that's too much. But here's the reality, and I've said this, get this thing done. I said get this thing done before Russell Wilson got his, and he went from, Aaron Rodgers was $33 million, boom, 35. Big Ben got his done, boom, $4 million. So now we're hearing that this summer, Carson Wentz is going to get his deal. And do you think Carson Wentz is going to settle for 25 or 30 million? No. Carson Wentz is going to be going up in that $30 million range. So understand that the more people that are in the 30s, the bottom is raising up for everybody else. It's like when you have Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is out there, or at least when he really came good, he all of a sudden raised the purse for the winner, which means all the guys up underneath there for second, third, fourth, fifth were making more too. So you need to get this thing done for Dak Prescott. And I know you're thinking $30 million, Well, here's the reality. It's $30 million today. But if you wait and say, Dak, why don't you play this year on that $2 million rookie deal that you have? Well, by the time Carson Wentz gets his extension, the Rams will be looking at saying, damn, we need to hurry up and go ahead and get Jared Goff done too because the price is going up. He's going to get his deal done. You got Phillip Rivers, who's on the last year of his deal. He needs to get his done, as well as some other people out there. So, get it done. Now, I'm curious because here's what we've been hearing about Dak Prescott. That A, he needs to take a home team discount. B, he's not an elite quarterback. C, the Cowboys won't be able to win if they pay Dak. Well, hold it right there. Numbers-wise, Dak, Goff, Wentz. Dak actually has more yardage than any of them. With the rushing touchdowns, he's got the most touchdowns. QBR, I think he's leading the three of them. But won't it be the same situation for each of those teams? Am I wrong that if the Cowboys pay Dak and the other guys pay their quarterback, they won't have the same situation that we have? And if everybody's paying high prices for quarterbacks, aren't we all in the same boat? And another thing with the Dallas Cowboys, understand there's a difference between the Cowboys versus the Eagles. The Eagles, I believe, are the 7th oldest team in the NFL, which means they've got a bunch of expiring contracts and older guys and things like that, and people that are going to need to get their contracts. Right now, we'll have the money to pay Zeke, Dak. We'll get Byron done. You still have time for Van Der Esch and, Jalen Smith. And you're going to have some older people contracts that are kind of high that you probably won't have after this year. I'm talking Lyle Collins, which is $10 million. I'm talking about Tyrone Crawford, which is $10 million. So you're having some guys that are going to be aging. And worst comes to worst, DeMarcus Lawrence, really, you can let him go in 3 years. So financially... Okay, so that's enough of that idiot. But that idiot actually was pretty right on. And even before Russell Wilson, I kept saying, get this thing done. Had you done this deal before Russell Wilson, you might have gotten Dak for $28 million. But we keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And on top of it, I have no bones about it. I know Dak will get his contract. I know we'll get Zeke in here and things. The thing that you hate to have is this wild goose chase, where Jane Slater talks about $40 million is what Dak is looking for. and believes that it's going to be 34 that they settle for. All of these things are distractions. And right now, we got 3 days left of training camp. 3 days. Today, tomorrow, a morning practice, and then they fly off to Hawaii. Then you've got 2 more weeks of practicing, getting ready for the season. The season is here. I'm sick and tired of talking about Zeke not being there. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Dak Prescott and how the fan base is now saying Dak Prescott is greedy. Dak Prescott, let him go. This is distraction. This is the kind of stuff that kills a team. This thing, I don't understand why the Cowboys always have these negotiations that are out in public. No other team in the NFL has their laundry out for the world to see like the Cowboys do. The thing is this. Everybody keeps thinking that, if you pay the quarterback, you can't pay and have a team. You always hear these talking heads that tell you, well, the Lions are hamstrung because they played Matthew Stafford. Or the 49ers, they can't do anything because they paid Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, take a look at the 49ers have $26 million. Had they saved a couple $1 million on Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not like they would have gotten more players because they still have money to get players. You look at the Lions down here. The Lions have 18 million. Had they paid Matthew Stafford less money, well, it's not like they're spending all that money. The funny thing is as you go down here and you look at teams that are actually in cap dire straits, they're the ones without quarterbacks. Look at this, the Broncos. You confident on their quarterback situation? This is what mismanagement ends up being. It's not that you're paying the quarterback, it's the fact that you're reaching and trying to get all these free agents. And when you get good players, you need to hold on to those good players. All you people who think that, well, the Dallas Cowboys should just go ahead and, just let Dak walk. I'm going to remind you of something really interesting. Because we've been spoiled because we went from finally getting Tony Romo and having stability in the quarterback situation to literally lucking out and having a guy fall into our lap and continue that. So for the last 13, 14 years, we've had two quarterbacks. But that wasn't the case before Tony Romo. Take a look. After Troy Aikman started leaving the NFL, we had Randall Cunningham at the tail end of his. Anthony Wright, Quincy Carter, Anthony Wright, Ryan Leaf, Clint Stoner, Chad Hutchinson, Quincy Carter, Vinny Testaverde, old Vinny, Drew Henson, and Drew Bledsoe. It was quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. Get this thing done. Understand we got lucky getting a quarterback who is a winner. And we don't need this distraction. Get this thing squared away, get the Zeke Elliott situation squared away, and let's get back to just focusing on football in the field and trying to make our way to Miami for the Super Bowl. I'm Mark Holmes, and thank you guys as always for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report.